And we're back, and Hasbro announced a whole bunch. Look at that, it's 5 flag points already. We just started.
Oh, I'm supposed to wait. Sorry, this is when I see a cool figure, I'm supposed to go five.
Hasbro recently announced a bunch of new figures coming out in the gijoe classified line. Some of them are up for pre-order, some of them are just announced and shown off. But yeah, we got lots of cool things to look at and dream about because I'm sure it's going to be quite a while before we get them in hand. But I thought we would come on and show some pictures and share our thoughts with some.
Yo, Joe, talking comics. Here's your host. It's a real American Brian.
We go through this. Johnny has pre-ordered quite a bit. I have actually been really busy, and my hobby time has been focused on other stuff, and I've just been lazy and didn't pre-order anything yet. So I will mention the ones that I'm interested in pre-ordering, and hopefully there's still some time to do that, but we'll see.
I wouldn't call it lazy as much as wise with your money.
Yeah, or complete lack of options with my.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we're just going to kind of go down the list and show off a bunch of the figures. I'm going to insert images of the figures over the video, but we're not going to be looking at them live. That's something you get to see after the magic of editing. The first one that we saw was Snow Job.
Love Snow Job. And is he on the screen right now? Is he there?
He is.
Oh, man. One of my favorites as a kid, and definitely one of my favorites. So when I saw that pop up, I was really excited for it. Also, body-wise, looks like a brand new sculpt because of the coat and pants and everything, right?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah. So really cool. Are you any interest in that one?
He's on my pass list. I'm going to let him go on by. I need to be a little bit more selective. I only have so much space. So
do you think if you set up like a snow themed diorama, then you would start? And right now you're more of a regular land guy, or
I guess there is the one option. We saw a hint of a picture of a snow bat. So if they released a snow bat, the snow bat would have to have somebody to fight. So then I'd have to go back and find Snow Job.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you may just want to put the money down and just get him.
I might.
Oh, he's 35 though. Why is he $35? What is he? Oh, he has a ton of accessories.
Yeah, all the skis and all the winter crap.
Man, it sucks to pay $10 for skis because I don't like skiing. I don't like skiing either. He's going downhill. He's got the cross countries, a bunch of guns, the poles. He's got a pretty sweet like comb over of sorts. Got kind of a Zach Galifianakis vibe a little bit. So.
Oh, do you know what else would possibly go with my winter scene if they ever released him? If they released a Quinn figure, I would pick that up.
Okay.
So then, but that is Snow Job. So that's one of the figures. We need to move on because there's some pretty exciting stuff. Not that Snow Job's not exciting. He has a ton of cool accessories.
Yeah.
But the Valkyries I thought were really cool. I didn't really realize they were going to release them the way they did. So it's a 2-pack of female Cobra troopers.
Yeah. I'm not like an always troop builder kind of guy, but I've got, as you can see over here, you can probably see some Cobras back there, right? Some troopers and whatnot.
Some troops.
Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular troopers, 2 officers and 5 infantry, 2 officers and 1 trooper. I was happy to add the Valkyries to my list there, my army there. If I didn't have all those, I probably would have passed on them.
Yeah, I mean, if I
was doing like if I was doing like a Cobra character army where I had Joe characters versus Cobra characters, and not Crimson Guard, not no named, I would have skipped them. But I really like I'm fine passing on some Cobra characters because I just want Cobra to feel more mass numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, if I had all the troopers that you had on your shelf, I would definitely pick up the Valkyries as well. But the one troop builder that I'm kind of going for is the bats. You know, I want to have 2 of each style of the bats, and then I'll be
Nice.
with that. Otherwise, I'm much more of the characters. So far with the Cobra troops, I've been picking up like 1 of each. Sort of like I have 1 Crimson Guard, 1 Cobra Trooper. So I think I'm going to pass on the Valkyries because then I would be leaning into that Cobra Trooper
Yeah.
thing.
Well, you also, I think it's important that you bring up if you're, I mean, I don't know, with us, we're not really normally like troop builder type people with figures, but you almost have to pick one and go with it, pick one lane. So you are going with bats. I would say Brian, the other Brian, who's on your show before. I want to say our show. Been on your show before. Real American Johnny does not debut until next year. We call it Raj. But I believe other Brian, he was building Vipers, which is as an army.
I think so. I know he was excited about the Tech Vipers and Televipers and stuff. So.
Yeah, because that's probably, even though I know from a childhood thing that was, he was too old. So I don't say too old. It was past when he was playing with those, but now I think that's his thing. I think he likes Vipers now, so he's picking that sort of one. But you almost have to, in a way, do that, where if you went nuts on everything, it could get out of control real quick. So for you, having the bats, you've got a plan of, I'm going to add more to it. So I can see why you'd skip the Valkyries then.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool figures, and if I had the troops that you did, it would be a no-brainer, but I don't. The next one is one that I am a little bit more excited about, Shipwreck.
Yes. Is he on the screen right now?
He is, and they went full retro classic Shipwreck, and I love it.
You know what I like about it too? I will say this line keeps getting better and better. Mm-hmm. You start off with the Duke and Scarlet and original Roadblock, and it's like, it's getting better and better.
All right. Moving on. Another one that I think is.
Oh, sorry. Before you move on, Polly is with the figure, correct? Right? Shipwreck?
I believe so. I mean, I'd be upset if he wasn't.
I think it's a peg. I think it's like a shoulder peg. Right? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't mean to cut you. I just wanted to make it clear that's on the figure. I'm pretty sure that was on there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could do Shipwreck without Polly. But...
Oh, sold separately, I mean. Oh, they should make him. You got to collect flag points and mail away for a Polly.
That would really piss off people that are already upset about the windowless packages. You want me to collect the package now?
Honestly, I would love a mail away figure. Like the idea of, well, hold on, let me take a step back. Because now I don't have any proofs of purchases because I throw my boxes away. But if I knew going forward, like in the windowless figures, inside was like a golden ticket of sorts that you had to collect and send in, that would be badass.
Let's move on though.
Okay.
So the next one is Rock and Roll. He's on my list. I want to get him for a few different reasons. The biggest one is I want his hand.
I want his hand. Grab that soundbite. I want his hand. Rock and Roll, along with Breaker, were the first 2 G.I. Joes I ever owned in my life. And I got those. So Rock and Roll always held a special place for me. And also I'm into machine guns. So it's a no-brainer for me to get Rock and Roll.
Yeah, I saw someone suggest online somewhere that they wish that he would have come with like different heads and you just have an option to make green shirted Joes out of this body. And there's nothing stopping you from doing that on your own. But it would be cool to have like a big deluxe package with a bunch of different hands, bunch of different heads.
I disagree personally, and it's a personal choice, but I have no reason to ever want a green shirt, Joe. They're all characters to me. Cobra is the ones you just kill off because they're coming at you and they have masks on. But the Joes are all heroes.
But occasionally you need a Joe to die, and if it's a green shirt, then it's less. It's like, okay.
I'm sorry. Your battles are close. Mine aren't.
But yes, the hand is a huge reason that I want Rock and Roll. But he's just a cool figure in general too. So it's not like.
Does it have extra hands? Could you steal that hand and put a normal one on then?
I'm pretty sure he comes with extra hands, so you can steal that one. I was surprised that he actually has a tattoo on the top of his hand.
Oh, okay.
So that, I don't know, he's tattooed kind of all over the place, which, depending on when he's in the army, would be an issue. You know, and then
Yeah.
you get into that G.I. Joe timeline thing, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, well, was that ever addressed in the comics? That, I mean, I would think that they're not bound by those restrictions, you know.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to stop them, right? They're all supposed to be working in the motor pool, and they're obviously not. I think there was a comic I read recently where they were talking. The motor pool guys were like, "These guys are never in uniform," and they're like pointing at Snake Eyes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Snake Eyes lets someone know and says, all my other gears in the wash.
Yeah.
So
But
rock and roll's
on.
so are you going to order rock and roll or no?
He's on my list. So Shipwreck and Rock and Roll are two that I definitely plan on pre-ordering. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to it. If you don't do it, I'm going to make fun of you for a long time.
All right. Next up, we got Copperhead, who is pretty cool.
Okay, so this whole batch of pre-orders, it hurt me financially because all of them meant something to me. From, I mean, outside of the Valkyries as female troopers, all the rest meant something to me as some of my favorite to play with as a kid. And Copperhead is no different. One of my favorite vehicles was the water moccasin, and he was the driver, and he came with it. And I was waiting for him to come out because he's just a badass dude. Again, my water theme, another no-brainer. I had to get it.
I'm gonna pass on Copperhead. I don't have that connection to him. I never had him as a kid, and again, there's nothing wrong. And it looks a great looking figure, and there's nothing wrong with the character, but I don't need it.
Okay, understandable. I think, yeah, I think he probably has some sentimental value for a lot of people my age, but I could also see why most would pass on him too.
The next figure we have is one that is on my kind of questionable list. I'm kind of still deciding on Torpedo.
Torpedo, I mean, was another must buy for me. And accessories as a kid and fins and all that kind of stuff was amazing. I loved playing with them. Another automatic purchase for me. These are all like some of my most active toys as a kid, you know, where they all saw action.
Yeah,
probably in the bathtub. I don't know.
So I did not have Torpedo as a kid. I think that's one of the things that kind of make me kind of questioning whether to pre-order or not. I was a wetsuit guy. I loved wetsuit.
Okay. So similar, but came a couple years after, right?
Yep.
What's the difference?
Some color patterns. Wetsuit had like more of a helmet on than Torpedo did.
But was there like a I'm better at this thing, or
I don't think so. But,
okay.
I mean, the Torpedo is the Hawaiian character, so that is kind of like making me want to get him to support the Hawaiian thing. But I don't know. I mean, what do you do? What do you do if you only have one guy that's a water specialist?
As you saying, you're going to send him alone on missions?
I mean, is he going to be running through the desert with his flippers on?
Wait, no, why would he be in the desert if he's the water guy?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like on my shelves, I don't have anyone else that would be in the water. He would be like,
oh, because you're okay. So let me just get this straight, because we're talking about proper ways to play, right? We're talking about how do you play? We play differently. You play as in your shelf is the setting.
Yeah.
Okay. I play more like this is sort of like the Hall of Heroes of sorts, that they're not deployed now. They're just, it's almost like, you know, when you see all the presidents at Disney World, they're just like standing there all together. Like, there's no way, you guys are different eras. How are you next to each other? Like, well, we're not active presidents right now. So you're saying you're worried too much about how they'll be combined in an active diorama set.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes total sense versus just I want a bunch of cool figures.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we're any figure like Torpedo where I'm kind of questioning it, where I'm not quite sure if I'm going to pass or buy it. What it usually comes down to is if I happen to see it somewhere, I buy it.
Yeah, I picked up Recondo the other day at Target. I didn't pre-order them because it was a Tiger Force one. It wasn't a big deal, even though I had it as a kid.
But speaking of lots of cool accessories and bigger packages, let's talk about Scrap Iron.
Yeah, bigger packages. What? Scrap Iron. You know, not an automatic buy for me.
No?
Not I bought them. Not an automatic one. Never had him as a kid, surprisingly, because he's like one of those classic second tier Cobra bad guys. And I don't know why I never had him either. I really have no idea. But you got me into the comics a few years ago, and he's always seems to be popping up in there. So over time, I got into him as a character. And then I saw his accessories, and I was like, all right, this is pretty awesome. Can you describe what he comes with there? It's pretty great.
I don't know the exact name for it, so I'm going to get in trouble there. But it's a cool little rocket launching robot thing with tank treads that he sends up, a little ground drone, I guess.
Yeah, so it looks almost I don't have the picture handy, but almost like maybe like an anti-air kind of little mini tank he's got, sort of. But it just looks badass. I will say though, if I was forced to remove one from my pre-order list, that would probably be it, because of the attachment. But again, he looks cool. I like the comics, I like the accessories. I do think he is sold out, and I would venture to say that he's going to be sold out, because if is he a Pulse exclusive or no?
I'm not sure. I didn't get that information on the list that I found.
Okay.
So Scrap Iron's another one that's on my kind of questionable list. I love the character of Scrap Iron, but I never had the figures. I don't have any attachment to him because of that. And he looks really cool, but do I really need him? I'm not sure. So he's on my kind of we'll wait and see list.
Yeah. Understandable. You may see that in stores. I mean, it's possible because the price tag might make it sit on the shelf, but he was like the first one to sell out. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the way Hasbro does their selling out of pre-orders. Just it's stupid, but yeah, whatever. That's a whole other topic.
You've been watching a Real American Brian production in association with the letters G, I, and JOE.